The housing crisis and the cost of living crisis are really biting now. Let's find out how with Cassandra Goldie, who's the CEO of the Australian Council of Social Services. Thanks for joining us, Cassandra. Tell us the feedback you're getting on the ground from your agencies. Just how hard are the cost of living pressures, the rent increases, the electricity prices increases, the grocery prices? How are they affecting people right now?
Well, it's very serious. We knew going into this latest period, including the pandemic period, Chris, that we already had over 3 million people living in poverty. That's about 1 in 8 people in Australia and 1 in 6 children. And this is a disgrace when it comes to us overall being a very wealthy country, and we've had systemic problems, including the decline in the adequacy of our income support systems for over 2 decades. Really since the Hawke-Keating era, we've had a big decline in the adequacy of those income support payments that are to protect people in the face of, not having enough income from other sources. I want to highlight now, though, just how bad it is. We estimate from the latest survey that we've got about 70% of people on low fixed incomes who are now going without food on a regular basis. Medicines as well, those out-of-pocket costs for health costs are very serious, and of course it's so important that people are looking after their health and well-being in these times. And of course we do have this ongoing chronic problem about housing affordability, and particularly the increase in rents and of course energy bills. And so it's very important that we see the long tail drivers of how we got here. We're now in this, particular experience with inflation. We've welcomed the fact the Reserve Bank has paused on those interest rate rises.
Yep.
We don't think that it was right for us to move with more rate rises at the moment, because we don't want to see any further increases in unemployment. And that, of course, is the risk that we face, because if it's hard to keep a roof over your head on low paid work, it's even worse if you lose your job.
Well, anyone who's on a fixed income and people trying to live on welfare are going to need help from the government in the budget, particularly on electricity, aren't they? And I mean, normally I'd be saying you get your electricity prices down. That's what they promised to do. But if government policies are driving electricity prices up to huge levels, and this is a crucial service people need, then the government is going to have to help people cover those bills. Because otherwise, as you say, they're going to have to choose between having some power in their house or being able to eat.
Well, we've always said that the most important thing we could do, and we've lost a lot of time here, is to transition to a cleaner economy with cheaper renewable energy. But
yeah, but we're getting the opposite. We're getting more expensive.
We have to stay the course on moving towards more renewables in the system. But in the meantime, our view is that we need to get a better regulation of what's called the default market offer. That's the underlying sort of price that's meant to be built into the bills for energy consumers. We think that the regulator rules need to change there so we get a better balance. We have to recognise that energy is an essential service.
It sure is.
To balance the desire for profits in this system with the price for consumers. And so we are urging the government to move to do some better regulation over that default market offer. The government has promised about $1.5 billion in energy debt relief package. Of course, we're keen to see the detail of that.
We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see the budget.
One-off assistance, Chris. This has to be.
Well, it's going to have to be
permanent. Of those income support payments.
Indeed. Thanks so much for joining us, Cassandra. Cassandra Goldie there from the Australian Council of Social Services.